What is going on, everyone? It is Super here. Welcome to another Injustice 2 video, and today was the day, guys. Today was a reveal of Harley Quinn and Deadshot at Gamescom, and we actually got to see some gameplay from Harley Quinn. Not only her, but also Blue Beetle and Wonder Woman. So today I have a 28-minute compilation video of the new Injustice 2 gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you guys want to see some more, and if you guys, like any of these three characters. Of course, the gameplay that was provided, the channels will be linked in the description, so check them out. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll be back to do a full breakdown on each individual character's playstyle in the future, so make sure you guys subscribe if you are not. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys next time.
You got second place locked up.
Harley Quinn wins.
Shall we duel, Your Highness?
How about slaps and tickles at 10 paces?
Just my luck. Freak of nature.
Gorilla Grodd. Wonder Woman. Metropolis.
Your mind tricks won't harm me.
Then I'll rely on brute strength.
Did I mention I'm an Amazon? For the gods! For the gods!
I will crush you. Give in to Grodd.
Get out of my head. For the gods!
Wonder Woman wins.
Your mind tricks won't harm me.
Then I'll rely on brute strength.
Did I mention I'm an Amazon? Submit to me.
put her in. And
we thought now was a good time to announce her, and so as you can see, the big thing with Injustice 2 is, we have these great roster of characters, but the big kind of star of the game is what we're calling gear. And gear is basically costume pieces that you can put on your character that actually, enhances them, powers up. And, so there's a constant search for new and better gear that you're always getting to make your character a little more powerful. Returning characters like Harley here, we gave them new moves so she can, summon her hyenas that come after you. And, Blue Beetle's a brand new character. So it's a lot of, really new, fresh stuff added to the mix of a game that everybody's was really excited about from the first game.
So that's something you wanna, so it can add to the longevity of the game.
Absolutely. There's going to be a constant search for your favorite piece of gear that does makes your characters just that much more powerful, and it's just your version of Superman, your version of Batman, your version of all these characters. It's a very personalization and customization is the big thing about the game.
Was this one thing, of course, Injustice 1 came out a couple of years ago, one thing which you thought, okay, would be nice to have to add here, or was it something you thought, oh, I would have liked to have it in the first game and now we're able to do it?
You know what? We've kind of progressively with every game that we've made. The last game we've made was Mortal Kombat X, and we had 3 versions of every character in there. So there was a little bit of like kind of customization where you can pick your favorite version of Raiden or Scorpion or whatnot. This is kind of like, in some ways, it's kind of like the next step in that evolution where you're actually, kind of creating your own custom version of it. It's all about personalization, but we still have the things that we had, that people loved about Injustice 1, which is like, the multiple arenas where you can actually knock your opponents into different arenas, and they all have objects that you can fight with and interacting. So it's a lot of fun to, like the fight is different based on the different arenas that you're fighting.
Before the first Injustice came out, a subset of the fans, especially long-time Mortal Kombat fans, said, oh, you had to tone down the violence because now you're mixing it with superheroes. But was this a decision that you said that was the right thing for the game to do, especially we couldn't use them otherwise? And in the new game, of course, there's still the so to speak, toned down violence. Yeah.
Well, this game is a T-rated game, and like the Mortal Kombat is all about fatalities and the blood and the violence. So Injustice is really a different game. So we wanted to have a different feel, a different tone to the game. The gameplay feels different too as well. It's a lot more involved with the arenas and these characters. So we feel like the violence is kind of like the Mortal Kombat stuff. This is all about over the top gameplay. Smashing cars on your opponents and blasting them through walls and all that. So that's really what Injustice is all about.
Okay, so we Germans wouldn't mind if the next one would be more violent because we got Mortal Kombat X uncut for the first time. So things changed here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep that in mind.
Sure, absolutely.
Another thing that would interest me, of course, many fighting games, they had a resurgence a couple of years ago where there many new came out. Something like Mortal Kombat, of course, was producing constantly sequels. But I have the feeling many fighting games nowadays are a little bit catered more towards a more hardcore audience, a fighting game community, which, of course, is playing those games a different way than many of, so to speak, normal people would do. Do you have something special in mind to cater to both parties, or would you say we are aiming more for the, so to speak, casual market and not as much to the fighting game community?
Well, we try to aim for both communities. We certainly want the game to be accessible, and fighting games inherently can be more complicated than like your typical video game. But we really try to make our game as accessible to as many people as possible. At the same time, we have layers of moves and strategies in the game that are, you really need to kind of practice up to access. So we're trying to provide as wide of a range of gaming experiences as for the casual and the professionals.
Okay, we got a couple of new gear here.
Yes.
So
yes.
You can choose which one you want, yeah, or?
Yes, well, you can choose to equip it or just keep it in your inventory. And so if you see that the gear that you have or just given is better than what you had before, you can say, okay, I want to put it on right now and continue fighting, and you have that piece of gear on you. So that's a big part of, you see Harley looks different, and so does Blue Beetle. And so those are like leveling up, a good example of how you can level up your character, and you get, a move can be unlocked, or you get more damage, or you can a lot more defensive abilities. So it's all about kind of crafting that version of your character that you want. And you're going to see the character change as you progress through it. It's great to see it kind of evolving.
Is this strictly stuff you can earn in-game, or is the stuff you can buy as DLC or get it as pre-order bonus or something?
Well, the whole game is based on it, so we really want it to be something that you get in-game, something that you are constantly on the hunt for that stuff. So that's really what the whole game is kind of centered around, is that thing. So we want it to be in-game.
Okay, I'm not super duper familiar with comic books because I treat them more like movies.
Yeah.
And I know most characters from the movies. I know Harley Quinn. I've seen a lot of her. Can you tell us something about Blue Beetle?
Well, Blue Beetle has actually been, certainly for the comic book audience, he's an absolute fan favorite. When we debuted him at Comic-Con, people lost their minds. I was really surprised. That's one of the exciting things about Injustice is, we're going to be able to go deeper into the roster and do these characters that are not as well known as Superman or Batman, but they have the rabid fan bases that people really love.
Do you think with so many movies and related stuff about superheroes coming out, people are speculating in the movies maybe in a couple of years there's going to be something like superhero fatigue? So many superheroes all the time that it's nothing that special anymore. Do you think that's something that could also relate to games?
No, I think there have been, DC and, superhero games for years and years, over 20 years now. And so, if there would have been fatigue, we would have seen it by now.
Oh, so we got Wonder Woman here. She's getting a movie too, I've heard.
Yes. I believe her movie comes next year.
So are you yourself a big comic book fan, or is it more you have people around you who are telling you, okay, put that one in there, and that's great. We have that.
Both. The entire team is huge comic book fans. We have these great conversations about who should be in the game, what moves should they have, and everybody has a favorite character that they really contribute a lot to. And so this game is the entire team is very passionate about these characters and wants them to present them in the best light possible.
Can the superhero characters that you haven't revealed all yet that are going to be in Injustice 2, but can every superhero character translate to a good fighting game character? So it's do you have to see, oh, that's a great superhero, but maybe he wouldn't be so good in a fighting game, or can you adapt this?
You know what? That's a good question. I think. You can make changes to make it work, but like let's say if there's a character that's gigantic and wouldn't even fit on the screen, it probably wouldn't translate too well into a fighting game.
Fight against a big planet or something.
Exactly. And so there's obvious choices, but that's all part of the fun of making these games. Is everybody kind of has a passionately campaigns for their favorite character to be in the game, and we have all these discussions. We also listen to players and what we hear characters. We heard Blue Beetle so many times during Injustice 1 that we knew if we were going to do a sequel, we're going to include Blue Beetle.
Well, was there a character you put in the last game or this game that you especially championed, where you said, no, believe me, that's going to be a good character if you put it in there?
That I championed? I certainly had my favorites that I wanted to see in the game. Martian Manhunter was a big one that I wanted to get in there. We never got him into the main roster, so we got him into the DLC roster. But there were other characters that our designers and artists that really wanted to see, and so they put up the put their best arguments for it, and the ones that everybody was excited about got in.
It's exciting to watch the big gorilla against Wonder Woman. Okay, and that was like a mini cutscene, a mini, so to speak, quick time event in between.
Yeah, you can. If you can use your bar and kind of like break a combo and go into this clash sequence where you're basically deciding to use how much of your meter to defeat the other guy.
Yeah, the Injustice games kind of incorporated a kind of alternative timeline, alternative universe stuff.
Yes.
There. So that's a big part here in Injustice 2 as well. So you have different versions of the characters interacting.
Well, in the story in Injustice 1 was all about the fact that there was two universes that were crossing over. Injustice 2 is really kind of focusing in on that universe where Superman was the dictator and he was kind of running things, and Batman.
Superman was the dick.
Him.
And here,
Dictator.
Yeah.
And then he was. So we're going to kind of pick up the story where that left off, and we have a comic book that's going to be covering the events between Injustice 1 and Injustice 2. It's a very long, arcing story that the games and the comics are in a continuous process of telling.
We're just, of course, watching here the PlayStation 4 version that's being played. The first game also was on iOS and Android, if I'm not mistaken, and this one will come out too. How do you play these kinds of games on mobile? Because I'm not quite sure. I haven't tried them yet.
Well, it was a different experience. The Injustice mobile game was more of like a companion for the console games, and so it was really like it had its own experience. It was a card collecting game, and different mechanics. So it doesn't really the exact same experience doesn't lend itself as well to like the tablets and phones.
Oh, did you know that Superman and Batman's mother's name is Martha?
Yes.
Did you hear about that?
I heard a rumor about that. Yes.
Yeah, that's how exciting is that? What are the possibilities? Somebody should do something about it.
Chances of it, right.
Was there any kind of feature because of time constraints or something else that you couldn't put in Injustice 1 and now have the opportunity, aside of course from the gear stuff which we talked about, that you could put in this game?
Yeah, well, we have new graphics engine, and so like the as you can see the visuals have given a big upgrade from the first Injustice. So as far as visuals, we really feel like we've kind of taken that next generational step, and obviously the gear system is another one. But we're going to have a very elaborate, even more longer story mode that we had from the first game, which is going to be great. And it's like watching a movie. We're really excited about how kind of representing these new characters in that format.
Okay, so let's see which ones we have here. Oh, now it's Batman. That one I know, and the left one is
Atrocitus.
Atrocitus.
Yeah, like how Green Lantern is a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
He's a Red Lantern.
Of course.
So he's like all about.
And with a name like this, he had to go in this profession, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. And he's all about like anger and blood and hatred.
There's his Red Lantern.
Yeah,
I
he's
see
like
it.
a very, very kind of bad, angry Red Lantern.
What was the explanation that Batman can be on equal footing with Superman here? Was it a strong suit, or was it like kind of a medicine he puts into Superman? I don't remember it as well.
In the last game, we always had to answer the question of like, why would somebody like Batman or Harley Quinn or even compete with someone like Superman or Wonder Woman or Aquaman? And so we had this pill that basically kind of enhanced.
It was a pill.
Yeah, exactly, and enhanced the characters and let it be like an even fight.
What kind of comic book characters do you think makes the better fighting game character? Is it superheroes or supervillains? Who is more exciting to put into a fighting game character?
Well, it's both. It's the combination of the two. I think one of the things about DC is they have such a deep and interesting roster of villains. I think more than anybody. And so with these kind of classic iconic villains, mixing them with the heroes is what makes it so exciting.
Oh, Batman's getting reamed. Poor guy. But if it's according to the movies, he'll always win at the end.
Exactly.
That's what it taught to me. Okay, I guess it's another Red Lantern, the flying cat up there, or?
Yes, that is another Red Lantern. His name is Dexter, and he kind of hangs out there, and you can make him, shoot projectiles or put a force field in front of Atrocitus, and there's a lot of.
And he got eaten by. Not quite. He got bitten a little bit.
So yeah, he works with. You can see that shield he puts in front of there. He can shoot projectiles at him, or he can actually attack there too. So that's kind of like his kind of special ability with Atrocitus.
Okay, how are you gonna roll out this game? So how far along is this version that we're seeing here, and when do you aim to release it?
We've only announced the year, which is next year, 2017. We haven't picked the month yet, but we're probably going to be, having a cascade of announcing characters and features. There's a whole bunch in the game that we haven't even talked about yet that we're going to be, announcing soon. And but right now we're really kind of announcing, the Harley Quinn and Deadshot from the Suicide Squad.
So best case would be every couple of weeks, couple of months, a new character, something new to show, and then hopefully in 2017 we're going to have the finished game here.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if we have like a set schedule, but it's certainly a lot of new stuff that we're excited to start talking about coming soon.
If I'm looking at a watch here, do you have still a little bit more time, or do you have to go absolutely now? I'm getting shaking heads from the side here, but you like it here, yeah?
I love it here.
It's slightly air conditioned, so it's pretty hot, but not that hot.
I feel air here.
We have a nice plant here.
I love it. it.
It's called Gilbert.
Yeah.
Gilbert the plant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's doing oxygen here.
And you have a great view of the show. You can see everybody down there.
Of course, and they have a great view of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially. I thought they were winking at us, but I think they just were waving air to their faces. Just down there. But Ed and all of you, thank you for coming.